face, while the storms are above me, and there's no hiding place. May the crash of the thunder, precious Lord, hear my cry, keep me safe till the storm passes by, till the storm passes over, till the thunder sounds no more, till the clouds fall forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand in the hollow of my hand. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. Many times Satan whispered, there is no need to try, for there's no end of sorrow, there's no hope by and by. But I know thou art with me, and tomorrow will be mine. Keep me safe till the storm passes by, till the storm passes over, till the thunder sounds no more, till the clouds fall forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand in the hollow of thy hand. Keep me safe till the storm passes by, till the storm passes over, till the thunder sounds no more, till the clouds fall forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand in the hollow of thy hand. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. Amen. Thank you kindly till the storm passes by. In a time when we may have economic difficulty, in a time when things seem to be going away, there are times to be smart, and the little that you have to spend it wisely. To bring to us our discussion this afternoon is an economist and a project manager in the form of none other than Sister Roxanne John. That's one. Sister John, welcome. You can come to take your seat. Next, we have an entrepreneur and a legal consultant in no other than Sister Phyllis Stewart John. And the lone male in the midst is a stewardship director, and he holds other post, none other than Mr. or Elder Max Horn. This afternoon, those online, those in the congregation, we want to give them our undivided attention so they can help us to be smart about our money, especially in these economic times. Let's welcome them this afternoon as they give to us smart. So over to you now.
Good evening, everyone, and hope you're feeling warm in here. Now, I am I'm the one who will be coordinating this evening's. Roxanne and Mams will be making some presentations also. Now, the topic says smart money. Now we have smartphones, smart TV, smart watch. What else we have smart? What else? Yes, smart TV, smart watch, smartphone. Anything else? Yes, I saw someone advertising smart toilet in Kingston. I don't know how it works. But smart money is the topic for this afternoon. Now, what is smart money? Anybody can go at it before I give the no definition? Yes, Raphael?
Just for the name, I was thinking it probably is electronic money. Electronic, like
Just by the
digital.
name, some says electronic, yes, upstairs. Money that is wise. Anybody else? The wise use of money. Smart money is a term used in business, in investment, but it does not relate to electronically transferring money. Money was being electronically transferred for a very long time. We know that we use money for spending, saving, investing, and sharing. But what is smart money according to the business world? Smart money is money used in large quantities by persons who know the industry, people who study the industry, and people who analyze the industry, and people who invest money for one purpose, and that is to get a return, and they have the knowledge of the prospective investment, so they take the risk and invest large amount of money, or they control, they influence large amount of money, like the central bank. Individuals who, before they put the money into the market or they invest, they have a personal knowledge. They seek out the market and they analyze the market of where they intend to invest their money. The term originally came from gamblers, people who gambled a lot. So they would seek out the gambling ring and everything like that, because their intention is to what? To win. So they are expecting a return. So while we have different versions of how we understand smart money, officially smart money has to do with large amount of money being invested by institutions or individuals who have knowledge and expertise in the market in which they are putting their money, because they are doing it at a risk, yes, but they have some surety that they will get some return. Everybody understand that? Right. Okay, so that's what smart money means. So, is our money smart? Yes, Ronald.
Based on the definition you just gave, is it possible that venture capital and smart money is the same thing?
Venture capital, people with big money. Anybody who takes time out to analyze the market. Those people, they take time to study the companies in which they're going to put the money, so therefore they understand where the money is going and how it will be invested. So their money is considered to be smart money. Rich people who put a lot of money into the market because they intend to make a lot of money, and they do make a lot of money, they invest, their money is considered smart money. Institutions that influence the money market, like central banks, right? They control smart money. Do you think, can you think of any other institution that controls a lot of money? Insurance. Natasha? Yes, a lot of it. A lot of it. They have a lot to do with it, yes. Right, they have a lot to do with it. The big people, the millionaires and the billionaires, their money is considered to be smart money, as far as the official definition is concerned. But do you think it is only their money can be smart money? Yes, Brother Arthur? Those who are upstairs, we cannot hear when you make your contribution. So could you come down and maybe come up front? It will be better appreciated. Yes, Brother Arthur.
What about people who foreign
Okay. He says, what about people who buy a piece of land to sell over? Right, that is where our money comes in. We don't have millions of dollars, but our money, in my opinion, and your opinion, could also be what? Smart money. Okay, so how can we make our money smart money? Now, because everyone who is an investor, you put money into something, you invest, you put your capital into it. And when you invest, what do you expect in return? Income. You expect more than what you put in. But so therefore, your investment money for us at this level will also be smart money. But how we go about doing it, we're going to learn more about it. How we can make our $1,000 or $10,000 or $500. We're going to invest it. How we can make it smart money. It doesn't match up to the definition of the big world, but we can still have our money as smart money. So the bottom line is, an investor is an individual or entity that utilizes its capital or the capital of others with the goal of receiving a return. So, you can arrange with someone to buy a piece of land with the understanding that you will get a return. Your money goes out, we call that your smart money, because you are putting it into a venture that you expect to have a return. How you go about doing it, how you go about trusting that person, that is what we have to learn here today. So, the end objective is always profit, right? Profit. If you leave your money in the bank, do you consider that to be smart money? We'll learn about that. But whatever you do, we have to use our money in a very smart way. And starting off, the best investments, we will say, is developing yourself. So we'll start by developing yourself. Okay? Enhance your value throughout life. Because if you can't talk to people, you'll have a real problem selling anything. So our first way of making our money smart is to develop ourselves. Okay? Develop ourselves in a way that we can have a product that we can sell, that somebody else would want to have it. Okay, now, before we move on, we will be looking at 12 principles on how we can make our money smart. We don't have millions. Well, I don't, so I don't know if anybody else down there does, right? But in our society here, the level of our living can tell us, give us an expectation. But we don't know each other's bank account, so we don't know how much everybody or anybody has in the bank account. Each one has its own. But whatever we have, how can we make our money smart? But we'll start by how we can budget whatever money we have. And at this time, Sister Roxanne will give us an insight into budgeting along with in terms of our Christianity. So budgeting and Christianity. Okay, so over to Roxanne.
Okay, good. Good afternoon, everyone. So let me see who can help me finish my statement. Smart money calls for
Smart choices.
okay. Smart money calls for smart choices, call for planning, call for budgeting. Smart money calls for. Let me see if somebody could. Smart investing. Ha. Well, you know, this didn't require willpower. You know. Just
Money.
smart money call for smart people. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you speak to us. I'm sorry, you did. Wonderful. Smart money, I didn't hear that. Smart money call for smart people. Now, budgeting and Christian living. Very short presentation. If you recall, sometime last year, I think we'll have done something where we go through how you go about doing budgeting. So we're not really going through the whole budgeting exercise itself, but why we need to budget. As we heard before, you talked about investing. You can't invest what you don't have. So the first thing is that you need to have. And in order for you, because we have limited resources around us. None of us in here, I believe, are millionaires. Or millionaires, right? None of us have a whole lot of money. But the little we have, we can provide all that we need. And we can have to give, right? So we need to do a little, what we call budgeting. Budgeting is all about planning, as somebody rightly said earlier. Let us read this quote from Ellen G. White from the Evangelism. Page 85, verse 1. I hope you can see it. It's too small. Okay. Brother Cotty going to enhance it, give us. But in the meantime, you saw the photograph on that side, budgeting, and what you see there, you talk about saving, cash, finance, the fund, and you talk about their expenses. That's all part of budgeting, all part of counting, especially in a business where you have to keep a good account of what you receive and what you're spending out, good accounting. But in your homes, you might just simply say your income and expenditure, whatever you're receiving. Now, these days, if you don't want to put it on paper, you can put it on phone. Phone have what they call notes that you can utilize. There's an app. Everybody's smartphone have an app called Notes. You can simply use that. Or you have Word and all these things on it. In case you don't want nobody to write it down, nobody to see what income you're making, because some people tend to always search up what they have, right? But if you have a phone, a lot of people tend to be locked down with their phone. You can have open the notes. There's an app they call Notes. You open it and you can write, and it will always be saving there for you, right? So you can write all that you have. Use a calculator. The phone have a calculator too, and you can say, okay, in this month, I am making this amount of money. I know I have this expenditure. And then you can say, well, if I'm making $50, you cannot have an expenditure of $100. Or if you do that, it means you have to find the money somewhere else, borrow, or you defer some sort of expenditure that you have. So, really and truly, there's many ways you can really write it down. It's advice to always write down that. Don't always put it in your head. Because you put it in your head, you tend to forget the most important things that you have to do. Good. So I think we're a little bit bigger, but I'll read it. And if you can, so you can read it with me. God's people are not to go forward blindly in investment of means that they have not and know not where to obtain. We must show wisdom in the movements that we make. Christ has laid before us the plan upon which his work is to be conducted. Those who desire to build must first what? Sit down and count the cost to see whether they are able to carry the building to completion before they begin to carry out their plans. They must advise with wise counselors. If one worker failing to reason from cause to effect is in danger of making unwise moves, his fellow workers are to speak words of wisdom to him, showing him where he is in error. So, it's very loaded. So you have to sit down and count the cost. If you're going to build a building, if you're going to have a child, rather than if you're going to get married, you have to sit down and count the cost. Because you have to mind that lady. You have to mind the house. So you have to sit down and say, boy, can I afford it? Can afford it? And when you're married, you have the wife sitting in the house every day. You have to maintain the house. You may have children, you have to maintain the children. How are you going to maintain those children? So you have to sit down and count the cost. What are you going to do? If you're going to buy a piece of land, will you be able to pay for the land? And when you have the land, will you be able to maintain the land? You can't just buy the piece of land and have it in bush. Somebody will come and squat it out at you and live on it. So you have to think of what you plan to do. So you have to sit down and count the cost. And it's right? Oh, okay, right. So you're talking here about seeking wisdom. Seek counsel. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Whatever plan to buy a vehicle, ask somebody who knows about vehicle. Don't be afraid. So it's all about budgeting, planning. Ask questions. Don't be in a silos. You know what is a silos? All by yourself and locked in and feel you don't want to buy no business. No, when you say, sometimes, I'm not saying I must go around and say everything I have to do. Be wise. So choose somebody who you could trust and who you could guide you. That's somebody who will inform you, advise you wrongly. But if you talk about what you're going to do, it's very important to talk about what you're going to do with somebody. So that they can maybe give up their experience, especially somebody who have gone through it before. So you need to sit down and you need to seek wisdom. And even so, if you see your brother or your sister making some investment that may not be wise, you can talk to them. Eventually is advising. You can seek counsel. Right? Okay. So next one. Let me see on the characteristic of an individual that budget. Budget is important. The first one which Ellen White brought up before is what? Wisdom. By wisdom, a house is what? Built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge, its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. So by wisdom, you will have money. By wisdom, you're able to provide all that is so standing enough. Now I said to you in Proverbs 6:6-8, it says what? Go to the ant. Thou sluggard, consider her ways, and the wise, which having no guide, overseer or ruler, provide her meat in the summer and get her food in the harvest. Sometimes we use this text to denote persons who are lazy. But there's another message for her. The ant is driven by purpose. They have a clear objective. Right? When it comes to winter, they can't go out. So therefore in summer, when things are nice, when it's sunny and nice, you can move out, they go out and they find their food and they store it. So therefore they plan ahead. Right? So don't make the ants be smarter than us. So learn from the ants and plan in your winter. Plan your days ahead. Plan how you're going to utilize your money. Plan what kind of job you want and why you want that job and what you want out of the job. When you have your money, how we are going to use it wisely. So the first thing, you're planning so that because it shows that you have wisdom. Okay. The next one. Good. What's the other characteristic? Self-control. It's the Proverbs 25 and verse 28 says what? Like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control. Huh? No guide. Make yourself vulnerable. You never build a house but you have no window in it. It's just open. Wait, open for what? Thieves and for what else? Bats and what else? Rat and what else? What else? What about rain? If you build a house without window, rain ain't coming and wet you. And you have a nice silly bed there, you put down, you well dress it up, you dress up the house with nice flowers. Rain ain't come and wet you down, and wind blow this stuff. So you have to be guided. So that's how we get bad. So self-control is what? The ability to control oneself, in particular one's emotion, desires, especially difficult situations. So therefore, when you budget, you are saying, I have $100 to spend this month and I must control myself. So don't go and expend more than that. I'm not going to get into what you must do with the money. I think some brother, sister, brother Max might tell us. But you have to have self-control because you do not have plenty money. And even if you have plenty money, we read earlier, you have to be wise and use your riches wisely. Good. So self-control. Another thing. What about diligent? Diligent. The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as children's haste leads to poverty. That is Proverbs 21:5. So when you're haste, you can't wait. You know this in the environment in some of our workplaces. People keep counting down when the month almost comes to the end. When it's payday, when it's payday, when it's payday. That ain't too good at all, not true? Because if you plan wisely, you should be able to have some control, be able to wait on time, know how you are scheduling expenditures, so you don't have to be in haste. And then when you get your money now, you don't even think about what you have expenditure you have to honor. You run down in town and you're going to buy this, buy that, pay for this, pay for that. And you go online. You live in town, go online. And you start to shop like a crazy on Amazon and those places. Right? Well, these days, there's some other places, shopping places more better than Amazon it appears. You see the devil smarter than us? And we have to be wise. Because they have many ways of how to spend your money. So people plan wisely. What is diligent? Having or showing what? Care and conscientiousness in one's work or duties. Conscientiousness is what? Being careful. Huh? Being what? Mindful. Being mindful of how you do your stuff. Showing care in one's work or duties. So you have to be careful in how you spend the little that the Lord bless you with. Good? So if you are diligent, then you will plan wisely. Good. Then, what's another character there? Prudence. What is prudence? The act with or showing care or thought for the future. You don't just live to the victory. So the prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. So some of us keep going and pay the penalty every month we want. And we in debt and we can't what? Honor our debts. And we bills keep skying up. Right? So we keep paying the penalty. But if you are prudent, you see danger and you take refuge. And this is from the Proverbs 22 and verse 3. So you will plan carefully. You will show care and you will think about the future. That's why we are planning now, because there's a future ahead. We don't know what's the future like, but we can plan now for it. Not true? Yes?
Sometimes, based on the environment around what you're seeing, right? And you say, okay, let me put something down the road. And then when you look to see how maybe the other person's children might have spent what they have and how, and you say, well, let me eat all one time, and behind that, for example.
Rabbi, so if you plan to eat all one time, the Proverbs say what? Pay the penalty. So look to the ants and constant ways, and look to Jesus who gave us the guidance, not to man who spent all the money. So the next one. And we are almost through. So we talk about wisdom, self-control, diligence, prudence, and then as a Christian, in our Christian living, if we plan and we budget properly, it shows that we are good stewards. Good stewards manages well. Good stewards not be in unmanageable debt. And I say unmanageable because debt is not bad, but it's when you can't manage what you owe and you cannot manage your expenses. A good steward is faithful. You will know to honor God with what you have. When you budget, make sure God first, right? And a good steward is honest. You will not steal to make up for your income. You will not rob people to make up for your income. A good steward is honest. If you want to be honest, sisters and brethren, plan ahead. Budget. And I want to leave us with a caution. So, you must plan ahead. And that's why some people, they want to do dishonest things because they want more money, because they want to have high expenditure. When the money they have cannot make up for the expenditure. So they tend to be dishonest. But that's not Christian living. You have to be honest. Now, I will read this one. There's a caution. It says, while we are to be economical, we are not to carry economy to excess. It is one of the sad, strange things in life that great mistakes are sometimes made in carrying the virtue of self-sacrifice to an extreme. It is possible for the Lord's workers to be presumptuous and to carry too far the self-sacrifice that prompts them to go without sufficient food and without sufficient clothing, in order that they may make every dollar go as far as possible. So, and I'm very cautious. Don't be, you could be wise, you could budget, but don't be too cheap. That's all. Some laborers overworked and do without things they ought to have because there is not enough money. There's not enough money in treasury to sustain the number of workers that ought to be in the field. There will be more money if it will work in accordance with Christ's injunction. So whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. This is from Evangelism 19 and verse 1 again. So, cautious, yes? You go budget. Be wise in spending, but you'll be smart. Don't be too conservative, that you deny yourself those important things that you need to have. So you need a balance. Budget, spend wisely, but also treat yourself very well, so that you can enjoy your labor of your hand while you have life, and you can help others to enjoy a comfortable living. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sister Roxanne. She dealt with one of the principles that we're looking at this evening, and that is budgeting, planning. So we know we all have money, we have to plan, we have to budget. Now for the maths, we'll look at this money in terms of our stewardship from the church point of view, and then afterward, we would have budgeted, we would have done our church duties, and we should have some money somewhere, and we're going to look at what we do with or how we can make that money smart. Brother Max.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so I'm here to deal with the stewardship aspect of saving and investing our money. And I'm sorry for those online, you can't see the slides, but I'll be reading them, so you'll be hearing what we are discussing this afternoon. So I'm going to say a special welcome to those online. So we're going to look at 7 biblical principles for saving and investing your money. Now it says here that the first principle, saving for future needs, is biblical, right? Saving for future needs, it's biblical. It says some Christians don't save for retirement because they believe it's disobedient, right? Some persons believe that if we save for the future, we are going to be disobedient to God. Some feel guilty about putting money away when others are in such great need. So some persons feel like, I shouldn't be saving all this money when there's so much suffering taking place, so much persons out there who needs help, and I'm here saving all this big lump sum of money. And the text some persons use is Matthew 6:19 and 20, which says, do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust destroy and where thieves break in. So persons use that text and say, you know what, we shouldn't be saving up all this money. We should be saving up heavenly treasures. And they use this text to say that, we should save for the future. And so the Bible teaches that it is possible to be wise. The Bible teaches us that it is possible to wisely save and invest for the future while also being rich towards God by storing up treasures in heaven. And if we know Genesis 41, there's a very important story there with Joseph. Who remember the story? Joseph, right? Joseph had a dream that, in 7 years there will be famine and there will be 7 years of plenty. And what happened? Joseph, there will be 7 years of plenty. What he did? He stored up, right? So saving is biblical. He stored up for the 7 years of famine. And Proverbs 6, verse 6, and Sister John touched on this text. It says, go to the ant, O sluggard, and consider her ways. And we know that the ant work very hard during the summertime and store up for the winter time. So we have to be wise and store up for our rainy day. We're not going to be young as we are now, and we're not going to be able to work as we are now. So we have to be able to stop for rainy day. Sickness and all these different things is a reality of our lives. And so we have to be able to save for the future. The second principle, saving honors God and serves others. Saving honors God and serves others. Saving honors God because it rightly values money as a gift that He has given to us. So money is a gift that God has given to us. Right? And when we save it, we are honoring Him. Instead of unplanned, impulsive, or foolish spending, wisely saving demonstrates the importance of stewarding His gift. So when we save our money wisely, we are showing God that we are good managers of this gift. Proper stewardship will put you in a better position to help with important needs as they arise. So we don't know what the future holds, but we know when emergency comes up, when we save our money wisely, we can be able to use that money to assist that situation. Saving may also allow you to leave an inheritance, blessing your heirs, so they can be a blessing to others. So we have most of our children, we have persons who want to leave an inheritance to. They don't want to leave the earth and the children have nothing, right? So you want to leave an inheritance for them, and it says not only for blessing for them, but we also be a blessing for others. And Proverbs 30:22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So not just the children, but grandchildren, right? And that's how far the inheritance has to reach to the grandchildren. It says, but the sinner's wealth is laid up for the righteous. So if you want to know if your parents was a good man, you get the inheritance. Right, so we as good Christians, we are supposed to leave an inheritance for our children's children. Number three, it says procrastination is a mistake. Procrastination is a mistake. It says most people don't postpone saving because they think saving is unimportant Instead, they expect to have more disposable income down the road. Some persons believe, you know what, I ain't gonna save now, I have so much things to do, it's much bills, so I'm gonna take it out of debt first, and after all this, I will start saving down the road. They believe that they will have more money. But the truth and the fact is, you will have less money, right? You won't have more disposable income. It says also, they have more pressing needs that get in the way, including debt payments, low wages, healthcare expenses, and the need to save for a child's education. They plan to get to it later. So most persons believe that, you know what, I have time to save. You know, right now let me just get these things out of the way, and then later on in life I will start saving. But guess what? It says, but even if things do change down the road, money saved for retirement later has less time to grow, meaning that you end up having to contribute more to have the same amount you started with today. So if you had started early, imagine if you started saving when you were in your teens. Imagine the kind of interest you're going to get and run right now, right? Versus someone who starts saving in the 40s and 50s and these things. So you have to put more money now in order to catch up to where you would have been. So the earlier you start, it is better for you. And the earlier you start as well, you don't have to save a big amount. You start small and the years will eventually add up. And we have a good example of this in Matthew 25-27. This is the story of the talents when the guy he buried his, right? And the Bible says that then we ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what is mine with interest. So even the good master here recognizes that if you invest in money, you get a little interest on it, right? So the laziest thing you can do is just put the money in the bank, and interest will grow, right? Interest will grow. Number 4 says, debt is a disease. Debt is a disease. The Bible isn't silent about debt. There obviously weren't Visa cards and loans and interest this time, right? Those things were not existing, but lending and borrowing was part of the economic scale back then. The Bible doesn't strictly prohibit debt, but it does characterize debt as a form of bondage. So Proverbs 22 and verse 7 says, the rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is a slave, of the lender. And so there is a direct correlation between overspending and too much debt and a low saving rate. So persons who may not be in debt but you are overspending and you are not saving, there's a correlation between those things. Now, as Sister John had said, not all debt is a bad debt, but once you can't manage that, if you're always borrowing, so you go in my codes, take out this loan, and you go by fast cash, take out another loan, and you go in bank, and take out loans, and you borrow another loan to pay this loan and all these things. That's how Ponzi scheme starts, right? You're running a Ponzi scheme and you're taking money from here, there, and everywhere to fund your reckless living. And so, in the context of saving, debt comes at a cost. The money needed to service debt, which goes to creditors, is money that can't be used for anything else. So the money that you have to use to pay off your creditors, you could have been using that money for something else, but now that money is gone. That is the opportunity cost of debt. So that's what debt does. It takes that money and you cannot use that money for anything else but to pay off that debt. And number 5 says, wise investing is right and good. Wise investing is right and good. Investing is actually commended if done wisely. So once we do investing wisely, it is commended. It's about putting money into real businesses that employ people and deliver products or services to customers. So there's 2 types of investment you can do. You can invest in a business, and I guess Sister John will touch on that more. Personal public business, where there are these large companies where persons can buy stocks and invest in business and you get dividends at a particular time, and also you can invest in yourself. Your education, in your skills, training and these things, you can invest in yourself. And we see persons who invest in yourself, that was never a bad investment to invest in yourself, right? And so we know that during COVID time there was this investment plan scheme going around, hands of blessing, all the different names they had. You bring $400 this week, and in 4 weeks you get $4,000, right? Nothing more like that, right? So we're just stay away from those get to enrich quick schemes, right? So when we invest wisely, we are going to see the reward. Ecclesiastes 11 and verse 6 says, in the morning sow your seed, and at evening withhold not your hand, for you do not know which will prosper, this or that, or whether both alike will be good. So the wise King Solomon here is telling us in the morning, so you sit, so you see. So let's listen to us early, get started early, right? And so you will see a return when you start saving and investing early. Saving, this is a warning, number 6, saving can bring temptations, right? So this is a warning here now. It says we can be tempted to save for the wrong reasons, out of fear and greed, or a desire for independence from God and others. If you save out of fear, you aren't trusting God. So you just save it out of fear and say, you know what, I'm going to put up this money here because I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm not sure if God's going to take care of me. I'm not sure how this is going to work out. My money is going to save me. Right? It's saying that we're not trusting God. If you do it out of greed, you also miss the point. And so we have a story here, and we know the parable of the rich fool, when he got demands and demands are overflowing, and he asked himself, what will I do with all this? And he said, I'm going to break it down and build bigger barns. And so he was saving out of greed. And we saw that same night God took his soul, right? And we cannot be saving out of greed. Our monies can't save us, right? Our monies can't save us. It's only God alone who can save us. But God is actually asking us to be wise. So we need to find a healthy balance. How can I save while still trusting in God? And balance is the key. Number 7, balance is the key. On one hand, we need to set aside something and invest wisely for the future. And on the other hand, we want to be generous and remain dependent on God, recognizing that He is the source of our provision and alone He controls the future. So our money doesn't control our future. God is the one who controls the future, and He's the one who knows the future. Whatever we decide, it must be out of a heart of gratitude to God for His kind generosity towards us. And Proverbs 10, verse 1, verse 5 says, a slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. And finally, it says here, God is gracious, loving and merciful. Saving and investing should be done based on biblical wisdom He has given us on this topic. So when it comes to saving and investing, we must always consult the biblical principles on how to save and invest. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Matt. So he has also touched on some of the principles, and we're going to do a more practical exercise now. Will you come and help us share these? You can give each person a pencil and a sheet of paper. Yes. And you don't have to share what you write down there, but just think about your money. Think about your money. Just say it might be $50, but think about it. $500, $5,000, $125,000. Think about your money. Okay? We dealt with budgeting. So, in your mind or on your paper, write down how much money you have sparing, what you saved, or how much more can you save. Right, we're going to think about now how we can make that money smart. Okay, so everybody has some money. We do not have the same amount of cash, right? But cash is what you need to do business. Whether I write a check, when the check gets to the bank, I must have what? Cash in the bank. Because if I give a check, and when the check reaches the bank, that has to pay the money, and there's no cash in my account, the check would bounce, and I would be dishonest. So, search your mind. How much money do you have wherever that you could invest it?
What if you don't have any?
If you don't have any, you're hoping to. Okay, that's a good point. Right? You're hoping to. Right. So we're looking at now, how can we invest our monies smartly? Remember I said at the beginning, your first investment should be where? Of yourself. So, are you saving? You need to improve your skills, your education. You need to get some further knowledge. Whatever you need to get, you're going to invest on yourself. If you want to go to university, what must you do? But before you apply, you must know about the university. You get all the knowledge that you need about the university, about the cost, the programs, which one is suited for you. So you're going to invest in yourself. And therefore, if you are saving, as Mark said, if you're saving and your money has no purpose for what you're saving for, then that's not good. So saving your money because you want to go to university, or you want to go to a special program, or you want to go to a skills program, or you want to buy a new tool to help you enhance your skills in masonry and carpentry, you want to do a new planting in your agriculture, you want to get a new breed of sheep or goat, you are planning. Okay? So you save the money for that. Okay. Anybody, if you don't want to, but anybody has an idea what they want to do first in improving themselves? Yes, Brother Mikey. Oh, I see that. Okay. Yeah, so you are going to improve yourself. Improving yourself is not just academically, but it is developing new skills, improving on the skills that you already have. Okay? Now, you have an income stream now. You can write it down, you don't have to share it with anybody. You write it down, okay? And from that, you say, you already said how much money you want to save, and you're going to save to improve ourselves. That's the first investment. Write down how many income streams do you have. Just the salary, just the agriculture, work in the lands. What else do you have? How many income streams do you have? Making your money smart is finding other means of income other than your main income. For example, Curtly giving me permission before I ask him. Curtly is a teacher. What other income stream we know that he does? Seedlings and the lettuce and the tomatoes. That is diversification. So do not think about having other means of income. Make your money smart. What? Sorry. Make your money smart. Have other diversification income. Sorry. Okay? Now, let me give you my personal example. My home. I have not worked since in any permanent job of being employed since 1999 when I left the Peace Corps business work. I remember Sister Craig meeting me down there, and she asked me, "What are you going to do now?" When I told her I'm not working anymore, I gave up my work. I worked with Peace Corps. That was the last time I got a salary. But I had my own business, the computer business, and family commitments required me to close it. Nikolai 4 years, Philip 2 years, and so on. And I closed it. And when I told Sister Craig, well, I don't have any account on the business, she was much concerned about me, and she said, "What are you going to do now?" Right? I said, my husband's salary is sufficient to take care of us. But that was not all. In the meantime, I found other means of income. Right? His salary being sufficient for us to invest in a real estate, so we invested in a real estate. You know, he has lands down there, so he never gave up his agriculture profession, Brother Arthur. He hires people to work the land when it's potato time, when it's dashing time. We invest in cattle. We have about 8 heads down there. We got a new one last week. So you diversify, right? So we invest in the real estate. We invest in the lands with more cattle. We're planting up the dasheen. When it's potato, we plant up the potato. Now, those dasheen and potato and cattle may not bring in $100,000 or even $50,000, but they bring in something. He sold a cattle 2 weeks ago. How much was it?
6,000.
Well, it's a good price of $5,400. One bull. Okay? And you know my husband what's his profession? He's a lawyer, but he never gave up his agriculture part of living. Right? So, you need to diversify if you need to increase your income. Right? Diversify. So, think about yourself and how you can diversify and write it on your paper. If you're doing it right now, that's fine. Now, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question. So the investor, if you're diversifying our income, should all my streams of income be dependent on me being able to have a hands-on in all of them?
No. We hire someone to take care of the cattle, most of it, and he takes care of 2. He brings them up closer to our home in the morning. You can go and see about them in the evening, you can check in them. But there's somebody we pay to see about the others. When it's time to plant the potatoes, he doesn't have time to dig the hole himself. He hires someone. The same thing with dasheen. But when it's reaping time, where you have to be more vigilant, he himself is there with the helpers, and I cook food and carry for them, but he himself is there. If it's 10 sacks of dasheen, he himself is there to see how the work is done. Right? Because you know they might pay them for a day when they do not get a day's work. So you do not have to be there all the time. And you can choose something that you don't have to be performing it all the time. We chose real estate. I will call the plumber. I have a plumber standby, I have an electrician standby. We call them to go and do the repairs whenever. But I have to be managing other things. I show up to collect the rent, and I manage the money that is collected, and so on. So you don't have to put your physical self into something else that you diversify. I'm only using those examples because that's what is reality to us. We are not stock people and debentures people and big company investment people, are we? No. So I'm using what is practical for us here in a community. So if you have a house or you have a piece of land and you have sufficient money in the bank and you have this, boy, how can I make an extra income? You can go to the bank. You can present them with a plan. I need to get a 2-bedroom, or I have a house, I can fix up the bottom or I can fix up the top, because I need, when I get a bit older, I don't want to be going in the garden, I don't want to be going into town, I'm retired, but I can still have an income coming in. So you can invest that money, how much money you have. The bank will tell you how much you need, right? I have a sister now, she lived alone, but when she started out, her downstairs was not develop, and I encourage her. She's now retired. She's receiving her retirement money, but she's also collecting her rent money. It all depends on your personal institution if you want to do that. But those are ways in St. Vincent that you can diversify.
Question.
Yes.
Okay. Just a question. Just a follow-up to what Max is asking in terms of you being in control of the investment all the time. Now, if I have a piece of land and I decide to partner with somebody who's not a Seventh-day Adventist, and let me say you work for a third, and let them work the land. They're not Adventists, but they may want to work on a Saturday because they can free to do what they want to do on the land. So one, should we go into such partnership or investment with somebody? And two, should we go into investment with people who are not of our own belief?
And the mighty, can you share some light on that? You're the pastor right now.
But I think, well, the Bible discourages us that we should not be unequally yoked, and we can be unequally yoked in business as well. But that's when two persons come together to do a business. So both are invested in the business, and both expect to benefit from the business. All right, so both persons should be of the same mind. But if I have a piece of land and I rent it or I lease it, I don't think I have control over when the person go and work the land. I think that is separate. That's my opinion.
And what about if you work in 2/3, 1/3, but the person is the one responsible for working with the land? Same principle.
Yes.
You have no control over the person who is working the land.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to be careful.
Yes. Any other question thus far? Okay.
So it sounds as though having a job is just to keep you at one place, because in your experience, when you have your job versus where you reach what you need to reach after giving up that job and decide to get around. But in this society, tells us when you get a job, you know, get a stable income, but then you work your whole life and then a context in a for pension, but you never really probably reach maybe where you could have been if you did some other stuff.
That's correct. Remember the Bible says that God wishes above all things that we prosper and be in health. So when you have opportunities to divest, okay? You have opportunities. You go for it with God, as the principles were already outlined, okay? You go for it with honesty and all the principles that Roxanne put out and Max put out, right? You have families, or you wish to go beyond, because the more you have, the more you're able to, as Max said, you're able to contribute to the work of God. The more you're able to help someone in the village, right? This is how I look at it. If I have $100,000 in the bank and I'm just watching it, for one, the bank's not paying enough interest, right? But if I take that $100,000 and I have land already and I develop a 2-bedroom, or I put in some agriculture, work in it and so on. I invest in agriculture, or I invest in some animals, okay? And you work diligently and providing that the thieves don't come and steal your animals. Your return, you get a return. You're able to put back that into the bank, okay? And you will increase over time, and it means you have more to share. you're able to help somebody. It's easier for you to help somebody. When you have money just lying in the bank, it does not work for you. Remember we said, if you're saving, then because you're saving for a purpose. So if you're saving to go to university, you go to university. Because why? You know that your income will increase by the virtue of you getting a higher education. Increase your skills, right? Do something about it with the intention of increasing your income. But to have it there, or maybe your child wants to go to, wants help somewhere, okay? I personally don't think about denying a child a help now, only to leave that same help when you die. Why not help the child now? Okay? Yes, you must save for, what's the word? Retirement, and the other one is rainy days. What's the real word for rainy days? Something that's emergency, right? So you save some for emergency, and you do in retirement, okay? My form of retirement, I don't get pension from government. You can never work with them long enough. So my form of retirement is my investment that I made. And as a self-employed person, I did some contribution to NIS. I was not consistent over the years, but I catch up after a few years before I reach my special date of birthday. So I get a little money from NIS now, but the money I get from NIS can't really keep me. Right? That's what, personally, I tell you, the money I get from NIS, I use it back for charity. That's what I use. Anybody else? Yes.
Okay, so the question, when I asked the question, right, I was thinking more of, so if I am involved in, so I'm working 8 to 4 with the government, and when I come home, I'm doing, let's say, for instance, I'm fixing phones. After that, I'm going to do graphic design and videos of people and stuff. All of that involves me. Now, if tomorrow I get sick for an entire week, I can't fix phones, I can't do graphic design. So whatever stream of income I had, which was dependent on me being healthy, is now out the window. So how do we diversify in getting streams of income where I do not directly have to be doing it myself, but it can be done, but I still get the benefits.
Anybody wants to contribute down there? Jason.
So, what I would say, right, here in the next question, is that in any business, in solid diversification, initially you have to put in the groundwork, right? After you put in the groundwork, there are some things that can be outsourced, like, for example, graphic design.
Alright. So, in response to Mark's question, because I was in a similar situation like Mark's, whenever you start a business on the side, whatever you're doing on the side, initially, most of the groundwork you have to do. You have to do most of the groundwork. Unless you have a ton of money, you have to do most of the groundwork. As you begin to build your business, there are going to be certain patterns, certain things that you could do or could be outsourced. So what you normally do, you document them in like procedures. Like the graphic design, for example, and also the video editing, those could be outsourced on a site called Fiverr.com. With that being outsourced now, it frees up your time to find other income generating activities or focus more on expanding, for example, your phone business, right? That way you're freed up your time there, you can put more energy into this one while you still have a day-to-time job. Eventually, and this will be a personal decision, you will move in such a way that these businesses now double, match force, and then double your current job. So if you so wish, you can now leave the current job and continue to grow these portfolios. So that's the way I am doing it, and that's the way for most of the business mentors I've spoken to, that's the way they do it. So initially you have to start with the groundwork, and then as you develop systems, you can outsource those and then focus more effort on the income generating activities.
Yes, as I mentioned with my family, my husband does not go down there and dig the dashing hole and put out the potato vine. He hires people to do that. So whether he's sick or not, it could be done. Yes, sir. So you can hire people, but you have to have control also over the employment and supervise. What you can do, yes, you have to have control over whatever you are going out there to do. But at the same time, ma'am, you said you are working with government. So while you're sick, you are still getting an income because your first stream, government pay should still be coming in until you get better, that you can go back to your other diversification jobs.
Just a response. Yes, similar, especially we're in a farming community. What we have seen in the past, where farmers, they were doing things themselves. Because I grew up where our parents, they were not really hiring other people. They were just really work themselves. So if they get sick, it means that the work will be put on hold. Especially if you have a piece of dashing or a piece of headroom, and you're not there to weed those things on time, or to mow them on time, grass it them over, and then you may end up not getting anything out of them. So what we have to do now as farmers, then you have to diversify even on the land itself. You put things on the land that you could continue to have some stream of income. You have fruit trees. Put fruit trees on the land. You plant crops that could be resilient. For instance, you plant a crop of corn. You may say, I ain't get much out of the corn, but you have the corn. You don't have to weed corn. Only initially, once it gets up there, once it's out there, that's it. And corn is a very short-term crop. Your beans. So then, if you get sick, let me say you have a whole acre land, you put a whole acre land in bean, and you get sick, what happens? You lose the whole acre. But if you diversify in the crops, there may some things, you may plant, let me say watermelon. Watermelon will be a bit resilient. You have to get rid of the grass at the early stage, and then after some time you leave it there. So then you have to know plantings that you could have some sort of income for the max. So in case you fall short, sick, or you have an emergency, you have to run out family or something, there's something there that could still keep you going.
Yes, diversification. Now, for my family, I'm talking about my family because I know my family, right? Okay. We have some goats. The goats are not there for income. They're there for producing and for Christmas kill and get meat and so on, right? But occasionally, if we have sufficient, we will sell one or two. But it's still a diversification because those who are eating the goat, we don't have to go and buy goat to therefore that money that we have stays in. Now, so we lost 2 goats because the person who was taking care of the goats, in the absence of my husband, did not recognize that the goats were sick. And by the time we look at them, 2 died. So that's 2 goats died. And during the same week, we got a new calf. So you see so if you lose one place, another area you can gain, right? But if you have just one and everything they're gone, right? You might find it difficult. So as Sister Roxanne said, you might want to find different plants, different crops on the land. Okay? So because we are in a farming community, so we have to keep practical where we are here. So think about what you have, what more you can do. A little, maybe selling some things, right? Getting into a small business where you have a relative overseas and maybe they sell some things, maybe clothing, and you can sell something as an extra income. Okay? As parents, we have to think also about leaving something, as it said before, for our children and our grandchildren. But that leaving doesn't mean you wait until the deathbed for them to come pay lawyer fee and to administrate. Why not give them while they need it now? But you have to be wise in what you give. You do not give away everything and then you're left stranded. Right? But they have to be at a certain age and maturity and really need it now. Okay? So we're not going to put our properties in the children's name now just for the sake of putting it in their name. Right? But you have to come to a realization that as we studied in a lesson last year, we're not going to live forever. Are we going to live forever? No. So we have to part with our worldly goods at some time. Therefore, give what you can give now and leave what you can leave later on. Find time to give in the community. Help somebody. That is part of making your money smart as a Christian. Give to the church. Support the church programs. And as I said before, the more you have is the more you can give. Okay? So I pray that as we go out this week, we'll think more about how we can make our money smart. We found out that officially, smart money means big money, millions of dollars, billions of dollars, being invested by institutions and people who go out and analyze the market and have a knowledge of the market. Whatever you're going to invest in, you must have a knowledge of it. Same thing. I don't know anything about planting the sheep, so I wouldn't go down in book and say I dig a hole because I don't know how deep the hole should be. Right? I can learn. If I'm going to do that, I must learn. So learn the area of your investment so that you understand it. Don't just put your money. And as Max mentioned about these quick, what is it? Get rich quick schemes. Guard yourself against those. A lot of young people are on those systems now. Get rich quick. And they put the money onto the stock and they understand the stock market, or they don't understand the stock market. They know how to get onto it. But understanding a business. If I told you I have a business in Union Island and I am going to do gold mining, and I ask you to come and contribute $10,000 each. How do you know gold is not in Union Island? Research. 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 Or you know by going down there and so on. So you don't just bring me the $10,000 because I am who I am and you just trust me. You have to know for yourself. Right? And in practical, there was a bank in Kingston that had some investment in Paraguay. And the investors never saw the investment down there. They never went there, but everything was just on paper and fictitious paper, and they lost a lot of money. Okay? So know what you are doing. If it's agriculture, yes. Yes, we're closing out now. Okay? So, know what you are going to invest in, follow the principles of the Bible, and make your money smart. Thank you.
I just want to say that sometimes as an individual, it might be difficult for one individual to run investment. So sometimes it's good to come together. All right, and that would share the risk and support, and could be more beneficial.
Yes, that is true. That's why Orion has meetings. If you're in it, you come to the meetings and learn about it. Okay? So yes, you have to pull something, but come and find out what is happening at Orion and what they're doing and how your money is being used. Okay? Sister Nicole? Yes, so thank you very much. And seek counsel if anybody wants any just to talk to me. But anything about investment, you can always meet me personally. Okay, so let's stand and we'll have a closing prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this session. For you have mentioned many times in the Bible about money and how it should be used and how it can be used to bless us and bless others, and that it is an important and a vital tool in carrying forth your gospel. We thank you for the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that you have given to us. And I pray, O God, that you will bless us, that we will use them to your furtherance of your gospel. Take us home safely now, we pray. In your name. Amen.
Gracias.